I did dead hangs for 7 days in a row. Here's what I learned. Dead hangs are a movement that are great for a number of reasons. Some include strengthening the upper body, including your arms and lats, as well as your grip strength, and of course, spinal decompression, which feels pretty damn good. So as a part of this challenge, I figured, why not see what it would be like to do dead hangs for 7 days in a row? And in order to do that and make it interesting, I tried to set a goal for myself to hang for 2 minutes every single day. While that's not required necessarily, I thought it would be fun to kind of just keep things interesting and see if I could do it. So on day 1, I went ahead and started this journey. All right, for the first time this week, we're gonna go ahead and do our dead hangs and see if we can get 2 minutes. All right, day number 1's in the books. Felt pretty good, and I'm gonna say that the hardest part of this is gonna be staying consistent with the grip strength as well as some of the tension in my back, but we'll see what happens later on this week. Of course, after day 1, I wasn't really feeling any kind of side effects necessarily. We'll say that it was a lot harder to hang for 2 minutes than I was expecting, but what can you do? Unfortunately, on day 2, I did come to the conclusion that this was going to be a little bit more of a mental challenge than I was expecting. All right, it's day 2, and I'm going to go ahead and warm up today's workout with some dead hangs. So let's see how it goes. Shooting for 2 minutes. Let's get to it. All right, so it looks like I had a little mental toughness error because I literally just fell 11 seconds. You can see 9 because I had to stop the clock. 11 seconds short of the 2 minute goal, but I will say today definitely felt more difficult. I think my grip might have been a little bit more narrow than it needed to be. So tune in for day number 3. We'll see how it goes. All right, so it's day number 3, feeling good. Definitely disappointed in my performance yesterday, so we're gonna level up and make sure that we do the full 2 minutes today. And if I'm feeling it, maybe make up for the extra 10 seconds. Let's get it. All right, so another disappointing effort. Fell about 5 seconds short, and I think the calluses are starting to pinch up. So I think I gotta get the grip figured out, but we're gonna keep pushing and keep attempting for 2 minute dead hangs. But regardless, it's dead hangs every day for a week. Day 4. All right, so day 4, I just can't seem to hang on for the last few seconds. I don't know why, but this is way harder than I thought it was gonna be. Will say it's definitely humbling, and 2 minutes doesn't seem that long until you start doing it. Definitely more exhausting than I expected. As you can see, the middle of this challenge was pretty difficult. I had this expectation that I'd be able to hang for about 2 minutes, and it turned out that it was a lot more difficult than I was expecting. When I was trying to hang towards the end, I realized that I was starting to come up a few seconds short almost every single day, as you can see. And what was making it really difficult, I think for me, was that mental block to see the time go down to 10 seconds, maybe as long as 15 seconds, and kind of just give up on myself. By day 7, I was definitely starting to feel some of the side effects of hanging for so long. And this was things like muscle soreness in my forearms as well as some muscle soreness in my back. I will say though, for the most part, my arms felt fine. Day 7. Once again, falling 10 seconds short. We gotta say that with this being the last day of the challenge, there's gonna be a lot of lessons learned. So my takeaways from this challenge were pretty simple and maybe common sense, but definitely something to solidify more of my thought process when it comes to dead hangs. And the first takeaway would be that doing this on a grip heavy day like deadlift day is probably not the best idea. And of course, that's a pretty common sense takeaway, but I will say that on deadlift days, I was starting to feel the grip strength kind of give out just a little bit. However, I do feel like this is still a great movement for grip strength. If you're trying to improve that, I would just probably not do it on the same days as deadlifts. Which takes us to takeaway number 2, and that's that I'd probably just do these a couple times a week as opposed to every single day. That way I can use it as more of a mobility exercise instead of a warm-up. However, I could see some benefits to using it as a warm-up, just not necessarily for 2 minutes. Leading to takeaway number 3, which is that the duration should have been shorter. I mean, I know I didn't have like a set time, but I felt like having a timer on this made the challenge a little bit more interesting. However, I think I would go back and probably just make it like 1, maybe 1.5 minutes. And if you think 2 minutes is short, I can almost guarantee that the majority of people watching this video wouldn't be able to do 2 minutes. It's a lot longer than you'd think, and it really shows how difficult hanging on a bar can actually be. And wouldn't you believe it, that takes us to takeaway number 4, which is that hanging on a bar for 2 minutes is way more humbling than I was expecting it to be. While I do think some of it is a mental block, I realized that it was pretty difficult to actually hit that number. Again, this wasn't necessarily a part of the challenge, but it was something to help motivate me, so I wasn't just kind of hanging around. And what I did realize is that when I started to see the timer tick down to those final seconds, I was so ready for this to be done, it was almost difficult to hang on the bar any longer. And takeaway number 5 would be to build up to 2 minutes. Again, with everything that's been set up to this point, I think that's probably common sense, but at the time it felt like 2 minutes was very achievable. And I will say that, again, it was humbling, but it's also something that makes more sense to work from 1 minute up to 2 minutes throughout the week, as opposed to just doing 2 minutes every single day. Moving forward, I will be implementing this into my regular routines, particularly on my off days like I mentioned before. And I will say that now that I've had a day or two to recover, my forearms don't feel quite as sore as they did before, and doing deadlifts now definitely feels a lot more comfortable. As far as benefits go, I would definitely say that there's a lot of benefits to having, again, that spinal decompression. Just hanging there for a few seconds really felt good. And so I'm excited to start implementing this moving forward, and hopefully seeing some residual benefits, like being a little bit better on things like deadlift, or even just having a better, firmer grip on the bar whenever I'm doing bench press. So that's going to be it for today. If you enjoyed today's content, please be sure to comment, like, subscribe, all of that good stuff definitely helps the channel. And until next time, keep it together.